Holy snapping duck shit.
My good mate from Bub and Rumbuka joins us.
I'm excited for another great show tonight. Give it the hoot nanny.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Trackside with Kokpit, brought to you by GARAGE16. It's getting chilly as we head into those wintry months. That means Speedway season is just about wrapped up for most of the tracks up and down the country. It's the Wednesday night show. Kinser and Booker here. And we have Lexi snoring in the background.
Yeah, she's having a bit of a snore in the background, bro. Yeah, Lexi. And
how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It is a bit chilly. It's getting a bit chillier on it. Saturday night at Palmy was... she dropped in temperature there. I even saw me wearing pants instead of shorts, which was something different, which was stupid. And then I cleaned myself up today, shaved my head and took my winter coat off, and it's got colder. I don't know if I made the right decision there or not, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it is getting cold, mate. You can feel that icy blast coming through the country, obviously down the south a lot more, but it will make its way up this way. And yeah, that's winter, mate. Don't mind a good frost. You get a nice day and get a cooler evening, easier to sleep. It's the wet stuff, and we had enough of that rubbish during the Speedway season, but it's the wet stuff that we can't deal with during the wintry months, mate.
Oh, mate, yeah, but it's like the weather we've had here in the Hawke's Bay the last few days has just been out the gate, mate. The sun, it's been awesome, to be fair. And it was a beautiful day traveling down to Palmy the other day, and Palmy was a beautiful day at the same time. But man, it got cold that night for their final meeting. But a bit of action there, mate, over there on that final meeting there. And there was a few drivers that actually impressed me that I hadn't seen drive yet in their new cars. And that was, I just had the names in my head too, and then I've lost it again thinking about other stuff as my dog's moving around. Young Ricky Lee, she was quite quick, mate. Showed some real speed there. She looks like she's getting the hang of it all, But there's quite a few drivers in Palmy that I saw for the first time driving that I thought, shit, these guys are going to be real up and comers, mate. Like just unbelievable. So it's pretty cool to see. But also for tonight, kids, I'd just like to give a shout out to all the people out there that have supported the Speedway this year, like all those photographers and guys have travelled around the speedways doing their bit and giving information to all of us, even me and you. Like we look at the likes of your Blake Speedway and your Sharms with Sparkies and your other ones, and just a big shout out to all them for their work this season, for what they've done to promote our sport, mate, and all the people you see driving around, like we run into Wayne Odden and Glenn Tumity. I rode into him the other night again, he's out there doing it still with their photos. Maru, of course, out there every week. I mean, these guys all do the big miles too, like the drivers, and just a hats off to everybody that's promoted this great sport of ours this season, mate.
Oh, exactly. Social media is just blowing up, obviously, this season with so many images. Like you said, mate, Mark Goodman's another one of those, our friend, and Wayne Otton, they take all these photos, and, mate, do any photographer out there, Hughesy, Troy Adamson as well, and there's a list of them, Wayne Drought, there's a whole heap of them. Nice photos, great photos. I'll tell you what, everywhere you see photos, it's awesome. Yeah, mate, and we've seen a couple of new ones pop on the scene this year that have been, like I've said to you, mate, have you seen these ones? And you've said the same thing to me, and it's just awesome. And big thanks to Wayne Odden. He's helped me out so many times this season with photos for the posters for the show, like tonight's poster with Foxy, they were photos from Wayne Odden. He never hesitates when I message him. I say, have you got a photo for this? And bang, within an hour I get 3-4 photos sent through, and that's awesome, because we don't take the photos, mate. We just go and talk to the drivers and try and promote it that way. But these guys are snapping, and so big thanks to all of those guys, and thanks for the ones that help us. Like last week as well, that photographer out of Auckland gave us the posters for the All-Stars. It's great that these guys do this and share it too, kids, because so point of us all going against each other. We can't promote the sport and make it better and what it is if everybody's working against each other, and it would be great to see if every track could work together and we would see the sport excel even more,
But yeah, hey, just want to say that hats off to all those out there that are helping promote the sport this season that we've seen, mate.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we see imagery-wise as well, around everywhere. But there's also the workers. We just want to do a shout-out to the volunteers that work at the tracks. They give up their time, not only just on the Saturday, because there's a lot of work that's done behind the scenes, part of the committee members, people who are associated with the flags, the St. John's, in the pits, organising the food outlets, maybe the merch side of things, the promotional side of things. These are all these kind of people that you can actually nominate and get them into the Speedo Awards, because the close-off date is only, I think it's next Friday, the 17th from memory, is the close-off date, and you can get tickets already for the big event happening down there in Palmerston North. I already see a few tracks around the countryside also advertising their prize giving at some of these tracks, so you can get some of those tickets ready for a fun night. And it's all about recognising everyone throughout the whole Speedway season, every single class. If I take a look at Waharoa last week and last Sunday, the crowd out of Waharoa, and you would have loved this, mate. They had airplanes flying over it.
Oh.
You've seen the steam tractors. You've seen the kids with the mullets. They had the biggest crowd out there last Sunday.
That's
and it
so
was
cool.
amped. Yeah, it is so cool. And congrats to everyone out there who got behind little Waharoa track, because I heard on all account it was just a wonderful day. The weather was beautiful. And overall, they had to end the racing early. Otherwise, they would have been racing until 8 o'clock at night. But just a massive effort to everyone out there. I'm going to head to Waihi Beach track this Sunday. Go and check out how their racing gets underway and enjoy that by the beach side. So I'm looking forward to that. Just a big shout out to Gary Stone, Amron. Hey, Emron, where's he watching these days, mate?
Yeah.
Wayne Otten, Mark Goodman, Flynn Ashton, Brian England, Aaron Ferguson, Sparky, our mate, Dwayne Martin. Aaron Ferguson said, good to see you at Palmy, mate. Aaron said to your books, Paul Mason, Dave Thomas, Kerry Gates, Richard and Trudy, Caleb J. Miller. He also had a race at Waharoa, the young man. Who else we got? Tyler Murdoch, Clive Turner.
Our mate from GARAGE16's there, Aaron Lewis as well, watching.
Yeah, Kerry Russ, Marcus and Kaylee Tidd, evening, mate. Yeah, they had a hell of a good time out there. Wayne Stewart from This Photographer, thanks to you, Wayne, for the photos. Gary Lonergan, Muddy Goodley, Rob Maybe. Who else we got? Who else we got going on through? There's a whole list. Ray Muir, young Byron. Hey, Byron. Yeah, doing well. Young man, I've seen this. Facebook. Pete Rose. 112 competitors were at Waharoa. It was a hell of a bloody day. Crumping. Yo's the boys. Crumping. Yo's Modified Man. Thomas Scott. Jaden Sim. Lucas Baldwin. John Northover. Nana. And, of course, the All-Stars fan, Tracy Sweeney. That's just a shout-out to a few of the people. But I suppose everyone's come to watch for us to bring in a man who made the announcement only this season that next year is going to be his finale after. We'll let him tell us how many years he's been racing modifieds. Eh, Books?
Oh, 100%, mate. The legend himself, isn't it? It's old Foxy. There he is. Hey, mate.
G'day. How are you guys?
Good, Foxy. Hey, I'm good, mate. Hey, mate. Hey, just to clarify, how many years you been racing?
I think it's around about 42, I think. 42 or 43, something like that. 40 years of, done a little bit at it. I don't think I've had a season off either.
Wow.
Pretty much have raced continuously. Only 1 or 2 seasons we've had an engine failure in my early years and missed half a season or so. But yeah, most of the years we raced every season.
So 42 years ago, straight into a modified, or how did you get introduced into it?
Pretty much I worked for a guy, John Jamison, who was a stock car driver in Royal Oak, and I started out with the stock cars and helping him out, and then my cousin Roy Walker, he raced saloons. He comes from he come from Otar in those days, but he's up north now at Taipa. They help out Taipa track, but he raced Monaro in the days, and then he raced stock cars first, and then he went to saloons after he had an accident, and I just got tangled up with it, and my lovely wife got some tax return money, and I borrowed that and built a modified and towed it down to the track on a rope with my Hillman Avenger. And we set the world on fire from there, I think.
Hillman Avenger, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Oh.
That's awesome.
And with the rope, towed it down with a rope.
Yeah, no, we did that for a whole season pretty much because I only lived up on Church Street. I was the next main street up from Waikaraka, from Nelson Street. So, yeah, we used to, in those days, we used to hang around and drink till the morning so it was daylight so we could tow it home again.
Try doing that today, eh, Foxy? Try and do that today.
Yeah. Imagine
they got no sense of humour now, mate.
It sounds it's the same like when I did my first ever derby. I drove it from one end of Palmerston North to the other to the track because I had no trailer, so I just drove my derby car through the middle of town straight to the track. And when I finished, I just left it there and went home.
Yeah, no, we had one or two nights where we had to leave the car there and come back in the morning and get it. But yeah, they were the good old days. Some good old boys around in those days. And yeah, it took me certainly touching base with that video you saw about that young chap racing that car of McPhee's the other day at Harrisville. Yeah, to get to that stage, mate, it took me 20 years or 25 years to get to that sort of point. You know, that's the difference that these days these kids are coming out of mini stocks, and that guy hopped in that car, and if you didn't know, you'd think it was Blair McPhee driving that round there. So that's how much talent these kids have got, you know. And it's pretty awesome for them to do that because those are the sort of people we need to target, them and some of these worn out old super stock drivers. I reckon they'll go right in the mod.
Instead of they keep going to saloons, don't they, folks? So I need to get jumping to modified, mate.
Yeah. Well, in the old days, we had a few, Loopy Lewin, a few modified guys come from super stocks, and Brian Musgrove, I raced with him. There was a few of them in the day, and Bill Dawn, he raced modified.
Yes, he did too, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were all pretty hard charges. But yeah, I see, I just don't know why they don't sort of head towards the modified class. It is tough to get the numbers back up, but hopefully this year we can coax a few people into coming up and do some justice for the public. You know, it's been pretty piss poor actually racing around 5 or 6 cars or even 8 cars. It's not, the price to get in it's not cheap anymore. Bring your family in. We want to try and put a show on, and it's bloody hard with 5, 6 cars, you know.
Especially when you come from an era, like you've said, Foxy, over those decades of racing, you've met some amazing people over your career, made many friends up and down the country, mate, and you've had some bloody hell of a good racing, whatever the race meeting was, you'd give it your all, but you want to kind of replicate that again. And to bring those good old days, I remember the good old dirt cup back in the day. It was a 2-nighter back then. You had you had to qualify. But you're right, mate. It's just kind of dwindled away. I just want to go back to, you've spoken about that and recognize GARAGE16. Aaron and the team there and Lower Circles support our show. Him and Vince, and they did their damnedest a few seasons back to try and build that modified class up. They're very integral part of behind the scenes of doing that. And I just want to recognize them because not just because they support our show, but because what they were trying to do to build the class up. Like you said, Foxy, you've come from an era where there's just been great numbers, legend names, iconic names to the sport have come from modifieds. Mate, you're still going, but the numbers unfortunately slowly dwindling away.
Yeah, and it's just about trying to put our finger on that. Like you say, Aaron and them did a good job with that GARAGE16. They promoted the hell out of it down for the whole time they were doing it. And we also put a series on similar to what they were doing, and we tried all that, and it did work to a point, but it's just not. It's just hard work, you know. Like it's a lot of classes. You put a good meeting on, they'll turn up, but if you don't ring around, if we've got meetings on, we've got to ring around and try and get the numbers up and work in with other clubs to get the numbers up. Otherwise, we just don't seem to get the numbers. But you know, this year might be a bit different if we can get a few more. We've got a few ideas of what we're doing, which Kins will probably touch on, and yeah, hopefully we can get the numbers back up. You know.
Just go back to those decades where you said you towed your car with a rope. Are we talking about where the wings look like a big bloody garage sliding door on top of the body then? Was that those big wings back in the days?
Yeah, that was Murray and them always. A lot of Stratford cars did have them. They were real big, even in the stock cars in those days.
Yeah.
Massive wings. Mine wasn't that big. I had an uncle who worked for the ARA bus company, and he made my wing there, and picked it up one night at midnight. From there, he done it as a bit of a homer. And when I got it, the wing was round the wrong way. The big side was on the outside, and the little side was on the inside. So my first meeting, I think I just quickly made a rough one, and yeah, I had a big crash in the first meeting actually. Phil Gang gave me a bit of rev up in those days.
Hey, let's talk about Phil actually and the Methanol Masters. I think recently down in Cromwell from memory. Might have been last week, whenever you were probably. I think, yeah. How good is he? He had a sprint car that's like 20 years old. He was right up the pointy end. He lived up to his nickname, the Wild Man. How good was he? You know, he just got out there and did it. And actually, how good was that meeting really to get a master class like that?
Yeah, for sure. And you know, I think he's always been, he races 100%. There's no doubt about that. You know, he's always given it his all. And the thing is, I heard that he, on another level, he wanted to race in front of his kids who've never seen him race. So, you know, he he went down there and done, you know, he done himself proud. He's been out of the seat for a while. But, you know, these guys, they probably never lose it, do they? Probably takes a few laps to get back into it. But, yeah, no, he's been around a long time, mate. He was one of the reasons probably why I ended up being as probably as hard or as aggressive as I could, because we didn't like each other in the early years, and he used to give it to me a bit. But over the years, we've become good mates, and he's actually helped me out quite a lot a few seasons ago when I was going through a rough patch, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, it's like you say, I've raced with a lot of those guys. I raced with Ray Jones. I've raced with Neil Cowling in the day. Yeah, the good old days when we had 6.5 commercial diffs, you could hit things a bit harder and didn't bend like they do.
No, you're right. You know, I was just thinking about it then while I mentioned that around that whole methanol thing there with the Masters. Like, imagine doing that, Foxy. Yeah, bringing all those old names back out. Those who are still around and able to jump in the car. You know, yourself, Muzzer, and Bertram, and maybe Tony Frost, just to name a few. Why not Phil Gane, just to throw one in there as well. Greg Keegan, just to name a few. And Willie Noonan, who Booker caught up with down the line. There's just so many great names. Imagine doing a Masters modified thing one night. I bet you the bloody crowd would turn up for that.
Yeah, well, you know, even if we could, there is the cars, and those guys you mentioned, there is cars there that we could do this. Jamie has already spoken in short a little bit about doing something like that. Mainly not so much as a full-on race meeting, because some of those names you mentioned, those guys gave it 150%. So, you know, you're driving other people's cars. we don't want to wind up with 10 or 12 cars and only 2 finishing, but it'd be awesome. I'd love to see that myself, and like I say, I've raced with Phil and Murray, and I've had my troubles with Phil, and I've had my arguments with Murray, and I've had disagreements with a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it's fantastic to see even Birdie still wandering around the Dirt Cup. It was great to see Murray last week helping Newton up at Auckland. These guys have been around for a long, long time, and they were idols of mine. When I first started going to Waikaraka, mate, I couldn't afford to get in. What I used to do was go down, watch the cricket on the other side, and they used to have flex bushes along the back straight. They never had a fence, and I used to sit in the flex bush and then come out on the other side to the track when it got time for racing. So, I've been going there since I was a little kid, and those guys like Murray and Phil and all that, they've been around this, and Roger, obviously, they've been around this all their lives. Like Luke Brown and Bradley Lane and Luke Keegan, all those guys, their parents raced and their old man raced, and they were kids when that,
Right.
A little bit harder in my day. I had to rely on stuff out of a wrecking yard to get the car going.
Hey, one note I must say, I think it was Ian White from out of Greymouth. He's still pedaling. He loves the Ford. He loves this Ford. He's Ford hearty. But, he hasn't had the best run at the recent NZs, and we caught it with a Huntley and in Stratford, just one of those things. But he turns up. He just loves it.
Oh, he's a fabulous guy, mate. Really is. He does so much for Greymouth, whereas this year, as part of my racing, we're going to get back. We're going to go down there, which you'll probably touch on later. But he does so much for that Greymouth club, and I just think myself that I think Christchurch, Woodford Glen, they don't sort of. A lot of them don't head over there as much as they head down to Woodford Glen. I know it's hard. Every track's got their meetings, but they've only got 5 or so in Greymouth. I think they're getting a few more now. But no, that Ian White, mate, if it wasn't for him, I don't know where that club would be as far as modifieds went, because I think he's still got his hands in the pie of probably 3 of them at least that I probably know of, he's a great guy, mate, and really nice. Him and his wife are lovely to talk to. And I don't know how he does it at his age, mate, because certainly hard for me at my age.
No, you're right. And me and Book were talking about this off air prior to us going live, how great it has been for us to, through our show here at Trackside with Kokpit, just interviewing the modified drivers. Each and one of you all have just been a pleasant person and people to speak to, to interview. You just open up with arms and love sharing your story, sharing about your car, sharing about your sponsors. The whole lot of you who are at Stratford and at Huntley. It's been bloody awesome, mate. Hey, look, it's no news, Foxy. No news that obviously is James Green has sent through the email like you alluded to. Guy knows more about you than yourself, mate. But it is no secret that the season coming up is your finale season.
Yeah. It's we've had good discussions. It's been on the cards for a few years. It was just a matter of getting the timing right. I wanted to leave. It's always good to leave on top, but I wanted to leave pretty much where I started. I started at Waikaraka, so I want to end there in the New Zealand's of this year, so it's the right time.
Mate, obviously, and you've touched on it already, Saturday nights in fields of 6 to 8 cars really just doesn't cut the mustard, especially with a career of 42 years that you've done. Obviously, they're going to do a fair bit behind the scenes to increase those numbers, eh?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we used to go to New Zealand Champs, mate, there was 40 cars, even more, I mean, the average night, most nights you'd get 15 to 16 cars. But yeah, it's obviously like sprint cars went through a phase where they struggled, and it's been dwindling away all around the country in the modified section, you know, just through low numbers. And there is cars around, but yeah, I'm not sure why, but it's just, yeah, we just can't get the numbers. But you know, doing what we're doing this year at Auckland, or what Jamie's pretty much organised, him and Bruce, which we've got to thank Bruce for fitting all this into his agendas. It's been awesome. So yeah, hopefully with what Jamie's doing, he'll make it work. He's Jamo, as much as it's me leaving, obviously personally the class will suffer a lot more with him going, because the amount of work he puts in for this class, especially in Auckland, and he deals with Stratford and other tracks as well. Will be sorely missed. He's sponsored over half of our meetings in my career, so you know he's helped the class a lot. He's as passionate as I am. You know, him and Chris have been with me since we were young kids. And their kids weren't born, and now their kids are 21, 22. They're crowing for me. It's Regan and Nick. We call him all Nick. And then Jerry, my nephew, he was a kid. Now his boys in mini stocks with one of the blaster cars.
Oh, yes.
Little mini stock. So yeah, you know, it's a bit of a bummer. The class is sort of not there, but we'll do our best this season to try and boost it up. We've got some good things from what I don't know much more than you do, Kinser. I've only really, Jamie sort of crept all this up on me. I was just hoping to do my time and finish up, and you know, on the leaving thing, we talked amongst ourselves as crew and our families, and to be fair, like my wife's put up with this, like Jamie's wife and Chris's wife, for 40 years, and everything we've done, including my marriage and everyone's marriages and all our dues, has all been governed around our racing. It's always been not on that Saturday night, it's got to be another one. So, you know, it's time for us to go back to our families and spend some time with them.
Yeah, no, I love what you're saying, mate. You can't do without families. Look, you said about it 42 years ago was a tax return, so that's how it all got into it. But anyway, what I do have here, what Jamie sent through, is the Waikareca 7. That's over 40,000 up for grabs, 8 nights of racing. New Zealand Champs is one event, but also 2-nighter. And we've got through some of the dates with the event one, which is a modified inversion challenge. That's coming up in November. You've got the modified handicap challenge. That's the event 2. The modified King of the Park. You've got the NZ Champs obviously coming up. We're going to touch on that soon, Jamie. Modified Dirt Cup, modified Champs, and then of course event 7 on the 3rd of May, which is Foxy's Flying Farewell. So these 7 events in there, but some good coin that's been offered up for it as well for the whole 7.
Yeah. Jamie's like I say, he's done this all on his own back. And I've got to thank him, obviously, as Fasting Solutions, BDC Engineering, which is another one who's a good mate of ours, Brian Clark, and also Kiwi Furniture Removals, Cody Harder and his wife. They're actually sponsoring, I think it's the first meeting, they're actually putting some sponsorship into that, which, you know, these guys, they're running their own cars, you know, so for them to put towards that is pretty special, really, when you consider he's racing against me, and he's got his own car to worry about and his business, and Jamie's talked with him, and they've come up with some sponsorship, and so is the blaster cars, and they've sponsored one of those meetings. So is cargo coordinators CJ and Sean. They've sponsoring, I think he might actually be sponsoring 2 of them. So, you know, these guys, CJ's got his own super stock. His son, Carlos, is racing the mini stock, and I think his daughter's due to get into them next year. So these guys have all got their own cars and own families to look after. So for them to actually be sponsoring an event for us is pretty special, really. You know, I think we might be going a little bit harder this year than we have in a few years. There's a little bit more to the season than how I felt the last few years. You know, this means a bit to us, and we either go out and scream and heap of shit, or win it.
Yeah. No, exactly. Look, for people who want to come along and support some of the events that we've just alluded to here on the show, here's a couple of dates. With Fireworks Night is on November 2nd. At the stage, they confirmed modified inversion, like Foxy said, sponsored by Kiwi Furniture Movers. That is Cody and Megan. And then the next one after that is until the end of the month on the 30th of November. It's also the Demo Derby night as well. That date has been confirmed. Sponsors Blaster Cars Auckland. That is the next big modified one there. We're hoping to get 16-20 cars, give or take. To be confirmed is the modified King of the Park, which is likely to be either January or March. That, as you say, Jamie, is sponsored by the Fastening Solutions. The New Zealand Champs. I know this has been released on the social media thanks to Speedway NZ. They released a lot of the venues that are hosting a lot of the champs. Only today, I think the Grand Prix, South Island and North Island tracks have been released. No dates as of yet, but we can kind of give you the date, I would guess, Jamie. It's been confirmed for New Zealand Modified Champs qualifying is Friday the 14th of February. And then the finals night is Saturday the 15th of February, sponsored by the BDC Engineering. So that's thanks to Brian and Angela. So there's your kind of dates if it's not been officially confirmed, and 14th and 15th of Feb.
And there you go, Kins. What's the best way to celebrate and take your girlfriend or wife out for Valentine's Day than going to the New Zealand Modified Qualifying Champs, mate? I mean, surely that's got to get you great brownie points, eh? You know, taking your wife or girlfriend to Waikaraka Park for the New Zealand Modified Qualifying. I think that's the best way to get your brownie points ever, you know? Hey? And I just see in the chat there too, I see Jason from Pitts Media has joined us, and he's saying that it looks like he will be doing the New Zealand Modifieds coverage.
Wow.
As well. So we might see the Pitts Media at Waikaraka Park for that event as well, which is freaking awesome, mate.
Yeah, for sure. You know, like I say, you guys and Pitts Media and GARAGE16, you guys have done awesome jobs, you know, getting the advertising out there and promoting the sport. And I don't do a lot of the stuff. It's not really me. I'm not that keen on it, but we need to do it. Obviously Bradley and Luke up this end of the country are the people. Once we go, they're going to have to get into it. You know, people look up to them, and they're the young guys, and they're the ones that can drag some of these young mini stock boys into it, I'm sure, or even girls. I've got a niece, Fredo's daughter, which she's going really awesome. You know, she's had a bit of a bad flip the other night, but they got it all fixed up, and they went straight back to Wairoa, and she got straight back into it. You know, Brienne's we'll have to see if one of these modifieds don't sell at the end of my career. I might have to put her in one and see how
Oh, that's bloody cool. Hey, what actually coincides after New Zealand is confirmed 14, 15 Feb. The following weekend is the Modified Dirt Cup on the 22nd. So, you know, for those modifieds who are thinking to attend Valentine's Day with the loved ones at the qualifying and staying for the finals and get through. Why not stick around a bit longer for, of course, the Dirt Cup, which is always a great one to be part of. Huntley, I see, host the Grand Prix title. Might be a bit of a hint. Have it the weekend after that. Then you can have all the modifieds up here for 3 weeks in a row. Why not give the class a big shot at 3 big meetings? NZ Dirt Cup, hint, Red. maybe the GP. Then, of course, moving on to April, during the Teens Nationals final nights, the Auckland Modified Champs. Then it's the big one for you, Mr. Fox. Actually, I'll go back to that Teens Nationals Modified Champs, sponsored by Cargo Coordinators. And, I did the Fastness Solutions. But the big one for you, mate, the 3rd of May. I'll be there. We'll be there. Sponsored by the Monza Club. Carlos and Fredo, it's your Foxy's Flying Farewell.
Yeah, that's I've got to thank Carlos, CJ, and them for that. That's awesome. The Monza Club obviously means a lot to myself and people like CJ, who was a kid when we had that club. It was founded by our Maori Mike Perawity. He raced a modified, and we had a club out in Panmure. It was called the Monza Club. Somehow got tied up with, pretty sure it was, I can't remember his name now. He used to race a Monza at Waikaraka, and that's why they called it the Monza Club. And we spent a lot of weekends there when we weren't racing, and it was a great club. And unfortunately, quite a lot of the boys are gone now. They're not with us anymore. So I think what CJ's hoping is we can get some of the people that are still around that used to come in the day to crew for Mike come along, and we can have a bit of a get together and catch up. And no doubt should be a few beers sunk that night.
A few quieties.
Well, let's find someone to take the car home for sure.
Oh, there'll be a rope out there. We could tow the bloody thing back home, mate. We'll work something out.
We're really going back to the old days, kids. Tow Fox's car back home. Down the motorway.
You're down the motorway on Auckland, towing this bloody race car with a rope. Holy hell. Hey, what a way to end. But, aside from all of this, and it's these wonderful sponsors that are supporting you over your outstanding career. It's the family dedication to it, like you've said, Foxy. The kids, you've seen these kids grow up now. But the other side of this is the mates you've made lifetime friends that you've raced alongside with. We spoke about a few of these names. Mate, they're there forever, these friends that you made in the class.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was awesome at the New Zealand's down in Stratford to catch up with Willie Noonan's mum. We were pretty good mates too. Me and Willie, when he raced, we used to have a few ales, and his mum and dad always used to come over and say hello, and it was good to catch up with her. She was in a wheelchair now. It's been a few years, but she still goes because Willie's boy races. One of those
mini sprints.
Mini sprints, that's it. And guys like Bunter and Jacko and all those guys. It's we've always got on good with them. I got on. I used to get on really good with Ginge Hayward in the day. It's just a lot of guys been and gone, but a few still there, and they're awesome people down that way. Hopefully, we'll have a few beers with them, and we'll still be around. Go to the tracks. Hopefully, might try and get one of my grandsons into mini stock, hopefully, and see how we go from there.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Box had the privilege of being down there helping out the Pits media with the coverage of the New Zealand Modified Champs in Stratford, and he was very lucky to be on the infield. He was actually starstruck interviewing all these legends from down there. He was just lost for words, literally. But just blown away. And he met Willie Noonan, and Willie talked to us as we headed out that night, even though it was bloody cold. But like you say, mate, just to talk and the privilege to speak to these well-known names within the modified class. Say, Books, you were just...
Oh, mate, I mean, me and you have been huge modified. We love it. We love it. I mean, we love our open class wheels. We love our superstar. We love all the classes, but we get just as excited going to the Dirt Cup as we do to the New Zealand stock cars. So it's to be able to privilege to help out the pits that weekend and to be in the middle there talking to all those legends and talking to yourself, Fox, and all of you in the pits was just. I mean, for me as a supporter of your class for so long, to be in a position now where we sit here, even tonight, talking to yourself, mate. I'm still sitting there thinking, far out. Wow, we're talking to these guys, you know. It's pretty cool, and that's why we love supporting the class, because we love it so much, you know. Like, it's just it blows my mind that we talk to you guys, and mate, what you've achieved so far in your career, and I think this year coming is going to be probably the best, because you're going to want to go out and, mate, you don't look like you've lost an inch when you drive around that track, Foxy. Honestly, you look, to me, you look as good and as fast as you did the day I first saw you go around the track.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder now, though. But, you know, I think I'm lucky, because very lucky actually. One, because of my family have allowed me to do it. But my crew, Jamie and Chris, Jeremy, Nick, and Regan, they've been so loyal to me. We're like family anyway, so it's more like a family. But they're just as passionate, you know. I get pissed off if something doesn't go right, but they do too, you know. So we're quite well known for having a bit of a raucous in the pits, and we get it sorted and get on with it. And these guys are passionate, you know. So that's why my success has been there. It's not just me; it's the whole team, you know. It's and certainly I wouldn't be where I am without those guys. And even before I got out on my own, Des Clark was involved. You know, he gave me an opportunity. That's Brian's father, who owns BDC. Brian started that company, who I worked for. I worked there for 34 years, and he gave up racing, and I raced his car, you know. And then his old man bought the car, and I raced that, and then we moved on to my car, and now me and Jamie are doing our thing. So yeah, I've had a lot of people help me. It's not I didn't just wake up and it all happens, you know. It was certainly the effort behind my team is very special, you know, and that is very close to me, and very personally, I like to do well, more so for them and my wife, who's put up with a lot of shit over the years. Really, you know, it's a thankless sport. It is thankless, because it takes up hours and hours, and I just couldn't imagine. In the day, we used to stay down in Stratford with Barry Podurski. We used to stay at his house, and man, you know, we used to go home from a meeting, and he's got half a car, mate. So they got to chop it all up, and we've just got to modify to fix. They're cutting half the car apart and fixing it. So how many hours are they in the shed? You know, I just hate to think, but yeah, without a family like I've got, mate, you just couldn't do it. You know, what all these drivers, I've heard so many stories about their wives just get peed off with it, and they split up. You know, not a lot can work through the years that we've done, and I've been privileged enough to have that. So, you know, that's part of my success. It's certainly not just the driving; it's everything in behind it.
Yeah, 100% right, mate. It's everything that's behind the scenes, and that's what people need to realize now. There is a lot of work that happens to every single driver, you know, as young as mini stocks. It starts from their mums, dads, friends are in the shed working on the young boy or girl's car, making sure it's 100%, nearly 100%, so they can go racing. Then that just evolves into the next class that they move into. Then it just gets bigger and bigger. Like Foxy said, way back 42 years ago, just after he towed his car with a rope, he's seen the development of a bloody trailer. How flash are these trailers looking now? Let alone how the development of the modified has looked now. Let alone what you tow the bloody things in these days. You are seeing a lot of yank trucks these days. You're seeing a lot of utes everywhere. These trailers are just next level. You could just about live in some of them. Me and Booker know some people who sleep in their trailers. But other than that, you know, it's just evolved over the many years you've been racing, mate, from what you said right at the start, to the development of the car, to the machinery. You talked about the diff that could hold it together. These days, it's just technology's evolved so fast.
Yeah, and it's you know, with the mini stock class coming through, they learn so quick. You know, like Brienne, my niece, she's only 12. She's only just turned 12, mate. She's competing with boys and girls that are aging out. She's finishing third and fourth, and so at 12 years old, the knowledge they've got is just light years ahead of what we had to do. You know. But it's awesome for the sport. We just got to get some of them in our class. And like you say, that young chap, what was his name?
Tom Steele.
It's Tom Steele. Yeah, if we can get, he's like that young guy Mitchell from Christchurch.
Yes.
Yeah.
They look pretty talented. So if we can get a few more of them in the class, I think it'll make for good racing.
Yeah. Young Tom actually won the MIP this season with the mini stocks in Paradise. He came through one day. Next year, I think when I went down to Miami before the New Zealand Superstock stuff, I don't think he'd actually lost a single race since the start of that season. He got the checker flag every time. But then, of course, he lost the race because I bloody turned up. Steve Hall in a sprint car, modified Paul Dewar, Mike Moore, just to name a few. Amron put a list here back in the 90s, the good old days. Roger Bertrand, Colin Entwistle, Willie Noonan, Murray Gorge, Jamie Fox, Philip Gain, Greg Pickerel, Tony Galbraith, Ricky Martin, Cliff Ross, the good old era of the 90s modifieds, mate. The list just goes on. The days. These are the good old days. Wayne Parkinson. Hey, Loz. G'day, mate. How's Aussie going? Murray Gorge is watching, mate. Murray's watching the show. Hey, you got any words you want to say, Mata? Tell us some bloody good stories about this fella. Family show, by the way. Brad Wright, Aaron McKenzie. Who else we got here? Foxy the Great from Brad Wright. Wayne Norton. What would the old Foxy say to a young Foxy? What would an old Foxy say to a young Foxy coming on through, mate?
Oh, I don't know. I tried that with my young fella, but he was quite good. He jumped in my modified up north, actually, and I leaned in the window to give him a bit of advice, and he said he knows all about it, don't worry about it. And anyway, halfway through the race, he flipped it over. So that conversation. Yeah, that conversation didn't work out too well, but yeah, I don't know, mate. I think it's about being smooth. I think you just got to be smooth these days. The days of old, where you used to hoof it in and all that, that's been my hardest thing, is trying to combat that. These young guys now, you driving mini stocks and go-karts, they're so smooth. They carry the pace, they carry the speed. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably better for Luke or Brad or someone, Jonas or McPhee, young fella, to tell them it's a bit over the top for me now. I'm struggling myself.
Good on you, mate. Mike Perrywitty, yeah. Who else we got here? Mandy and Jason Kalin's watching, mate. Foxy took the time to talk to Braith and give him some pointers of encouragement, mate. Much respect for that, and a few other drivers in the class could do more to encourage new competitors. You're right, mate. And sharing the knowledge that you've had, the good knowledge that you've had, and people are thank you for that as well. Jason Gutteridge had to wipe the drool off the mics.
Is that about me talking to all the legends?
yeah.
He's probably not wrong.
Might need to bring the modifieds back to the Superstock Teams champs. How bloody cool would that be to have you guys down there in February in front of a full house, eh? Imagine that.
Oh yeah, we've done it twice. The first one I done all right, but the second one I think I was in the teams champ, so I just got to think off. But yeah, that's to be fair, that's why these meetings that Jamie's put on, if you look at them, the Guy Fox meetings, the Demolition Derby meetings, we don't normally run on those nights, but part of running these meetings on those nights and putting good money up is so that we pack the place out at Auckland on Guy Fox and those derbies. So to be running back in a full crowd, that's why we want to get good numbers. If we can get 16 cars, something like that, it might encourage the crowd to come back, or, you might get one or two in the crowd that could be interested in racing, but just the way we're going with the low on numbers, it's just not good enough,
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Steve Murray, thanks, mate. Thanks for wishing a certain individual a birthday for tomorrow. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, it's yours, isn't it, Kins? I think it's Kins' birthday tomorrow. That would have been put up on that would have been put up on the page anyway. Some arsehole would have done that. Oh, me. Hey, Foxy, you know, like with you, this is going to be your final season coming up, and you've seen a lot of drivers over the years come and go, and like you say, you've raced with some amazing drivers. Who do you think, who in your eyes at the moment is at the pinnacle of their driving career at the moment, do you think, in that modified class? Who in your opinion you think, like I watch some of them and watch their lines and it just blows my mind, you know? You drive with them. So who do you think is the person that you want to beat because they're right there at that pointy end of the time?
Well, obviously the two to beat in my eyes at the moment is obviously Brad and Luke Brown. Jonas is up there, isn't he? And so there's a couple in the South Island, young fella Mitchell, and Luke Keegan's back. He's going all right by all accounts, you know. He's taking a little bit of time, but he's getting there, and obviously he's back on the pace. So, yeah, I mean, at the moment, the last few years, it's all been about Luke and Brad, really, isn't it? And yeah, they it would have been those two again at Stratford. Luke had got tangled up, and but yeah, you know, Jacko was there or thereabouts until he got tangled up. You know, Jacko's he's the same. He's you know, he's a bit older, but on any day he's like me. If we've got it all our shit sorted out, we can match them. You know, it's just getting that consistency. We've been lacking a bit of car speed, which we seem to have found it the last half of the season. We've found a bit more pace, so I'm feeling a bit more comfortable, and the car's a bit easier to drive, and we've managed to get on top of it. So hopefully we can take that into next year. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a different deal when we get a lot more cars. You know, it's just going to be about the decision making and not so much just out and out pace. You know, plenty of drivers have won New Zealand titles, and not all of them have had the best engines. They've whatever they got, they put to the ground and they get there. You know. Yeah. So yeah, it's those two guys for sure are the ones that they're going well. And obviously, Kalen's young fella, he's the last few meetings I've seen him at, he's been up there, you know, he's been doing it. So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Newton get up there and win something, you know. He's put a huge effort into racing over the years, and obviously Murray has too. So, things just haven't gone 100% for him. He's going good at times, but he just struggles. He's like us, and if you don't get everything right, you're not going to be there. But yeah, no, I suppose those two young fellas, they're the ones to beat, aren't they? You know, and thank Christ I'm getting out of it next year, so if any more of them come along, I can sit there and watch.
You're right, you know, to have Brad go back to back winning that one, and yet of course he did a Huntley in front of his home crowd, and you're most probably hoping to replicate that at the end of your season come February 14-15. But also to see young Luke come through, Luke Brown, you know, the kid had a DNF and he just had to chase and prove that you can do it after having a DNF as such, and then get through to still come third, Carl Hinton was second, Carl Hinton third, and then you saw Cody and Cody Hutter, and I think young Scott Redfern was in there as well, you know, for the Huntley track alone. It was just pretty outstanding to have them all in there. Mate, on the social media, I know you're not a social media buff as such, but everyone's been putting up these little checker flags and little signs that they've been to these tracks or raced at these tracks. I'm guessing you've just about raced nearly every track in the country, just about.
Yeah, just I haven't been to Blenheim or Cromwell.
Okay.
There's a couple of those ones down there I haven't been to, and I haven't been to we've been to Gisborne. It's the Hawke's Bay track we haven't been to, which they were looking at running Miani, yeah. But yeah, most of the tracks I've been to, I mean, this is the thing, you know, you got to go to these tracks, and every track's different and every surface is different, and it is hard work, and it's not rewarding going there and driving 8 hours and coming home like a sack of shit because you've crashed. But unless you do this stuff, you're not gonna excel. You know, this is why Birdie and Murray and Frosty and all them, Greg Keegan, they travel all up and down the country, and they put the effort in, and the cream always rises to the top when you put the effort in, and that's what's happened to us. We've had hopefully we haven't had all of our successes, but you know, we've put everything we've got into it as far as the crew, the family, and myself. I probably could have put a bit more effort into fitness and less drinking, but hey, you got to balance.
Right, you know, we mentioned Phil Game earlier in the piece and how he went down and done the sprint car thing down the line with the Methanol Masters, I think it was. Have you ever driven the sprint car in your career?
Yeah, I have raced. I've driven one of Phil's. I drove one of Phil's out at Western Springs just for a warm up. But I raced Ron Salter's. I raced one of them at John Webster. It was Craig Delansky's car.
Yes.
I made the top 6 shootout. I finished, I think, about 5th, I think, in the 25 lapper. But that was pretty hard paced. The young fellow that won that, I can't think of his name. He lapped us, but yeah, I think me and Colin Entwistle tousled it out for quite a few laps. But yeah, different kettle of fish, and they wouldn't. I wanted to have a practice lap in it, but they wouldn't let me. They reckon I know all about it. And I drew grid 1 in the first race. So as soon as I put my foot down, the pig of the thing stood up on its ass, and the wheel stood all the way down the straight. So it's not like a mod; you can't just jump on them.
you weren't tempted to have a season or two in the sprint car?
Nah. I probably could have, but no. It's you got to be a little bit more dedicated. I mean, it's to run at the top of your game there. You got to have good gear, and you got to be prepared that you could well do a chassis. Most guys have got a second car now, or a second chassis at least, you know. And you got to be a bit more fitter and dedicated. I've always liked the modifieds. I've liked, like I say, I like all the guys, Paul Dewar and all them. You mentioned them, and I forgot about him. I raced with him. He was a character in the day. All those guys were, you know. Mike Moore was another one. He's a great guy, mate. Mike Moore, lovely guy. And we had a lot of beers and drank a lot of piss with all those guys, and they're good guys, you know. Mike Moore was forever getting speeding tickets, towing his thing around the country. He was always getting tickets. Character. But yeah, it's good memories, you know. A little bit, it's a different era now, way different to what it was. We still try and enjoy it. I still, you know, it's hard not to do well, but it's harder to do well. We understand that, but yeah, it's just you got to move with the times, eh?
Oh, exactly. Look, Gorgie, Murray, Muzza said, Foxy had a lot of good times racing together, mate. Murray Gorge says that to you.
Oh, awesome. Thanks.
And Jacko's got those young ones won't beat us in the club rooms, eh, Foxy?
No way, mate. No way in the world. We only drink for 2 reasons. One if we win, or one if we lose. So we've got it covered, mate.
Amaron's watching. Absolute privilege to have given you the checkered flag at Huntley when I was a race starter there from 2009 through to 2019. Lost count on how many times, but I know it was a lot. Foxy is 10 times Waikato champion. So there you go.
Thanks, man.
You just recently won. Did you win the Dirt Cup?
Yes. Yeah, I won the Dirt Cup.
Yeah. And how many times is that?
10.
Yeah, I thought it was 10 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I sat online for a few years, so I didn't think it was going to happen, but yeah. miracles do happen.
The young ones, yeah, miracles. hey, Devils. Mate, it's been a bloody miracle that you've been able to talk with us. I know this isn't your real cup of tea, mate, but, it's just been a privilege, like Amaron said and the others that have watched the show. It's just been bloody great, to forward south next year, get their bums on the track and come and watch the modifieds. There's big events coming up. The Waikaraka 7 big events, plenty of money involved in this as well. And as you mentioned, the dates for the New Zealand's 14, 15 to Feb, the following weekend is the Modified Dirt Cup. But, mate, you've got a big off-season to enjoy with the family, no doubt. But an exciting Speedway season to look forward to with your finale, Foxy.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, no, thanks very much. We'll win or lose, we're just there to enjoy it now, and hopefully the main aim is to get some cars together. So we've got a good bunch of cars. We still want to fill in our gaps at Huntley, and we're gonna take a trek to Wellington to Tumas. Hopefully they run Tumas meeting. We're hopefully looking at getting something at Gisborne again. And Peter Rees has spoke to me a little bit about his South Island tour, trying to get some modifieds together down there. So we're going to touch base on that. And yeah, I'll just lap it up. We've done pretty much what I wanted to do. The only thing I haven't done is win a New Zealand title at home, which I'd love to do. But hey, I'm not going to put any emphasis on that. We're there to race the same as I do every other time, and if it happens, it happens. I mean, look what happened at Stratford. It was just an incident, put us out in the first lap. It was no one's fault. It just happened, And that's the shit thing about the sport. That can happen, but I've had plenty of times when other people have had it happen and I've won. So you just got to take that and move on to next year, But either way, exactly. We'll be there having a fun. We'll have plenty of fun, and hopefully we can get some cars up here and put some racing on that's worthy of paying $30 to get in to watch. I hope that's the main thing.
Exactly, mate. And look, Books and I, if you decide whatever the outcome is with the Rees tour, we'll be part of that tour come mid-March, heading down the South Island as well. So, mate, I don't know. We'll get up to some fun antics if you're on there. We'll enjoy ourselves.
We'll get the Jaguar on the tour as well. That'll be some fun.
It'll be a mess. It'll be a bloody mess.
Yeah.
And that's as long as we're having fun and enjoying it, mate. As long as you're having fun and enjoying it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, it's time now for me to put some time back into my wife and my kids, and we're going to we got a few things on the horizon. Probably going to move to Wellington, and my kids are down there, so spend a bit of time. It's payback time. I got to spend some time with them. And, yeah, no, it's been great, mate. I've certainly appreciate all the people that have helped me out over the years, and I may have forgotten names, but I certainly haven't forgot all the help. I've lent on a few people and asked a few questions. And you got to remember, when I started this, I could hardly read or write, mate. So this sport's taught me at least to read and write. And now and weld. I learned to weld pretty quick after the first modified meeting.
You actually learned what a flex bush was as well, how you hit it there. As a young kid to get into the track. Look, you want to race again. You got away with
that for a few years.
You've raced with Greg Pickerel, Bruce Thompson, and Glenn Free. I'm guessing Mike Francis put a comment in, I'd say so. Anne's watching as well. Let's go hard and go home a Foxy. Yeah. Only awesome career, only Anne's awesome career, Foxy, and no doubt you'll leave a great legacy behind you. I got you second on points currently for Roger Bertram Medalist Award, with a few more points to be added as well. Just talking about that, just keep an eye on the Only AMS page and give you some updates on when that will be happening. Book and I will be helping out AMS and being part of that as well. Best of luck for next season. And I'm guessing that wraps it all up, Foxy, from everyone that's been commenting, watching, the drivers that you've raced over the decades you've raced, all they really want to say. And I want to say a big shout out to your man, James Green, for all this helpful information email. Amazing what he's done and put together to send all this information out. But from everyone, Foxy, wish you all the best. Be safe over the winter months. Keep warm with a bit of a drink going on there. But look, we'll catch up with you trackside sometime soon, mate?
Yeah, thanks very much. I love your show, and you guys do a great job, man. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Foxy.
Let's get the modifieds there, mate. Let's get the modifieds there.
Yeah. Thanks,
Cheers,
mate.
Foxy. Thank
See
you.
you later.
Mate.
See you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
That was cool.
It was cool, mate. It's an awesome career, so far. I mean, and I think there's still a few statements to be made this season coming up, mate. I think we'll see statements being made by one of the greats of our sport in the modified class, to be fair.
Oh, exactly. You know, him taking our time, and we both know this isn't his thing he likes to do, but he's come on to join us and share, obviously, his thoughts on his career that's going to be, coming to an end next season, and plenty going on there. Thanks to all of those sponsors that are behind every single event. Just quickly, there you go. That's what's happening on Sunday. If you want to go check out a racetrack, at the beach, there it is. Gates open 8. Racing at 10. I'm gonna put it. Hey, yeah. You got to take cash too. I don't think they got FPOS. Oh yes,
yeah. No dogs, no alcohol, and no FPOS.
It takes some cash. It's old school, but you'll have some fun times, hot food, and there's a bar on site. But I'm looking forward to being there. I just want to say a big shout out to all the people that have put the wonderful comments in there. Legend, you're right, Steve Palmer.
Yeah, I just want to clear up to what I said about Jason. I must have read it wrong. Jason of the pits doing that New Zealand champs. He said he's confirmed it's in the processes of happening. Hasn't been 100% confirmed, but they are in the works with it with Bruce. So I'm pretty confident it'll happen. So because the fans want the pits there to film it, So yeah,
wicked. It's been awesome.
No show next week.
Yeah, I'm going to be away. My little grandson's fell in love with the rugby ball, and it happens to be a Wednesday night game. He's playing under lights, so he's busy with this little rugby career, and played outstanding last Friday night under lights. And I've got to go do the Grand Poppy thing and follow the little moko around, and won't be here on Wednesday. But if something pops up, we might do it another night. We'll see what happens. But yeah, just in case you tune in next Wednesday to Trackside with Kokpit, brought to you by GARAGE16. We're not here. I'm busy watching rugby ball with my grandson.
So we're going to have a break. Our first break in 2 years.
Hey, anything's possible. Just takes a phone call.
We said that last time. We're going to have a break, and then what happened? Oh, bloody. But definitely this time. So we have got some good stuff coming up too. We've probably got some rally stuff coming up as well, people. Some announcements and things with that happening. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up that's going to be other than Speedway, because the Speedway season finishes. But get your votes in for those guys out there that you want to vote for the Speedway New Zealand Speedway Awards. Like we said, big thanks to all those other media people out there that have done their part this season to help promote this sport of ours. And we will see you all in a couple of weeks, Kins.
Exactly. Cheers, Ian. Thanks for the birthday shout out for tomorrow. Yep. Big day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Take
101. Care. Oh, I mean, what? Oh.
Yeah. Minus 46. Anyway, carry on.
It's all right. When you hit 50, you count backwards. Well, that's what I've been doing anyway, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I still got it at 50. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. It's a family show.
See you, team. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you in a couple of weeks. Holy snapping duck shit.
My good mate from Bump and Run Booker joins us.
I'm excited for another great show tonight. Give it the hoot now.